Hello, I'm Professor Toybox, and once again I've got Officer Judy Hopps with me. She appeared in the alpha footage of the Disney Infinity 4.0 Kingdoms project, which is what this toy box is based on, so I thought it'd be fun to use her again in this episode. Today I'm building the lava pit room in the Agrabah Palace dungeon. Here are some scenes of this room from the alpha video. The player gets here by climbing ledge hangs. They then ride a rail slide, adjusting their speed to slow down or speed up in order to avoid the swinging blades and reach the pedestal at the end, where they can obtain a key. Then they have to ride back, carrying the key with them. The alpha video doesn't show how this room is connected to the rest of the dungeon, so I decided to put it at the end of the suspended beams in the main chamber. And that would be over on the far side, over here. And so this is where we're going to set up our lava room. And I need to leave room for the ceiling here. So there's going to be a row of blocks up here. And then I've got to leave a little bit of room above that. So we're going to put the floor of that lava room right here, of the lava pit. And I want to line this up. It doesn't quite matter exactly where this sits, but the blocks above it do, so I need two of those, just like that. So that looks pretty good, and then I'm going to grab the 3x3 here and pick it up and put it back down, and we're going to come over and turn it this way so that the blank side is facing outward, and I want to put this so that it's a half a block off of here, like that. And I believe that is correct. Yep. Okay, and that means I need to move this like that. And the same for the other lava block. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and frame in the room. This room is one of the more devious looking designs that the 4.0 Kingdoms developers came up with. If we didn't have the ability to control our speed on the rail slide, this obstacle would be very difficult to conquer. Even with that ability, I've still fallen into that lava a few times. So it's quite a challenge, but it's still fun. Like that. And then we'll put a 1x3 over here to plug this gap. So there we go. We've filled in the bottom floor of this. We're going to add one more level of blocks around the top. I want this room to look deep because that's how it looked on the alpha video. It needs to look like the player's pretty high up above the lava. That way too, when you get knocked off the rail slide, you don't die immediately. You've got a second or two of dread before you hit the lava. Oops. Okay, and then for here, I'm going to push this over, and that door is covered up, so that's fine. And then I'm going to add a 2x3 right here. And we notice we've got this door that's facing out down here. The player probably isn't going to notice that, so you're probably okay with leaving this as a 3x3. But if that bothers you, you can take that block out and put in a couple of these 2x3s with a 1x3 behind it. And then you don't have the door showing on this side, and you don't have the door showing on that side. Okay, and then up here, this will be the floor that the player will be standing on. And I think just because of that, I'm going to go ahead and swap these two. Because as the player climbs up to the top, and then they're standing there waiting to time their rail slide, this way that seam right here will not be right in front of them. So that'll be a little bit better, I think. Okay, and then we're going to do one more layer for the walls at the player's level. And I'm not worried about these doors on this side because the player's never going to see this. So no need to worry about the ugly side if they're never going to see it. And then we'll put another row, let's see, another block. I think we can just stick it right there. Player's not going to see this, so we could even just put that in there and then it's flush with that wall. And I think I'll go ahead and do that. And I'm going to add this down here just to plug that as well. And once again, let's go ahead and just to hide that seam a little bit, we'll swap those two blocks like that. There we are. So now there's our chamber. Now the rest is mainly adding details. And so I think the first thing I want to do is let's put a temporary rail slide in here because I need to space out the pieces that we're going to use, and I want to have this go right down the center of the chamber. Let's see, that goes 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And we need to go 1, 2 more, I believe. Yeah. So then we can come back down to building sets group 6 and grab this small tower. And this needs to sit right on the end of that, just like that. We're going to put them too high. And that is the pedestal that the key will sit on. And then I'm going to go ahead and take these back out for right now. Well, I'll leave them in for the moment, and I'll explain why I'm taking them out a little bit later when I get to that point. So we can leave those in for right now. All right. Now in the video, that rail slide was suspended from the ceiling by chains that were hanging at an angle. I don't have anything like that, but we do have some angled blocks down in the blocks drawer, and the angle goes the wrong way, but it still conveys the basic idea. So I'm going to slide over here and pick those up. I'm not sure which way it would have been quicker to go. Not this one, but that one. And so these are going to sit right up against the wall along here at that level. And we're actually going to pull it out one block because I'm going to put 2 rows of these in here. And we're going to put down, let's see, 7 of these to start with. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then come down and put another row of them under here. Like that. And then just for spacing, I'm going to put 2 in here. And then another 2. I'm going to take these out because this is where the first pendulum is going to go. And I have to leave room for that. And then we'll put in another 2 for spacing. Take those out. Oop, here we go. and then we'll take these two out right there. So we have 4, 2, 2, and 6. And then we'll go ahead and add the top row of these in. Like that. And then we'll need a row of blocks behind there to plug the gap. And that doesn't quite matter because the player's never going to see that part of the gap more than likely. They might see this one though. So we can save a couple of blocks. Here we got to have all 4 of them though. There we are. So now as you look down the chamber, we have that slanted surface, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so next thing we'll do is the exact same thing on the other side. Since we're already on this block, let's put this one in. Then we'll build around it. So it's a little tedious putting this together, but it's not too bad. The end result is sure worth it. There we go. And that looks pretty good. I like that. Okay, so next up, we will need the spinning saw blades. So we're going to come back down to the platforming toys drawer and go left. I don't think we have to go too far here. Here we go. All right, so that's what we need. And we have just enough room here for that to fit. And it's got to be at the ceiling level, so it needs to sit like that. Now the problem is that rail slide is going to keep me from putting that in there. And so I can't have the rail slide in there. So I'm going to put these in here for right now, and I'm centering them in that area. I'll have to lower these down, but I can't do that until I take the rail slide out. And then we can put those down. And you'll notice the one in the middle, I flipped that around a little bit. It's kind of off from the other two. So let me do that again. So we kind of want to do it so that it's staggered. So as we put this down, when you're building, when the toy box is being built, it's not going to know. It's not going to have that delay. And so I flip that middle one around. And so that way they're kind of going at odd. They're not all going the same direction at the same time. But again, I need to lift these up for right now because we still have to put that rail slide in here. So I'm going to put these up to get them out of the way. Okay, and then to add them in, the middle one I think is up high enough, but let me move that up a little bit more. Okay, and then we'll come back over to the right and pick up the rail slides. And I'm going to put one down temporarily and style it, because I'm going to use a replayer to put these down. It's about the only way I've found to be able to do this and have it work. So we'll style that to be the electric rail. Because even if I try to put it down when the blade is out of the way, it's still going to run into the bounding box for this. And it's not going to let me place that rail slide. And so I'm going to have to use a replayer to put that down. So I've already styled it, so that's good. I'll delete that. And now I'll come up to the Creativitoys drawer and go left. And we'll drop down a replayer. There we go. I'm going to dump that right over here. And I'm going to set the properties on this to take the playback interval to 0. And then we'll come out of Spark mode and out of the editor, and I'll step on the replayer, which opens the menu in the lower right, and I can hit B on my Wii U to start recording. Step off so I can get back in the toy box drawer. Go back down to the platforming toys drawer. Let's see, there it is. And now we'll line this up with the center of the chamber, just like that. And exit out of the editor. Step on the replayer. Press B again to stop recording, and press A to clear it. And now with the replayer cleared and the rail slides out of the way, now we can put the blades back down where they need to be. So we're going to drop this one down to the right ceiling level. I already figured out the spacing for it. Here we go. Horizontally. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now the blades are in place. And now we'll step on the replayer, and I need to time this so that the blades are out of the way when I do the playback. So right about now. Here we are. So now the blades are going back and forth, and there doesn't seem to be any problem. So kind of weird, but that's what you have to do to build this. And I found that you have to do the rail slide on the replayer. You can't put the spinning blades in there because the rail slide will be in the way, and the replayer will not put down the spinning blades. Because their bounding boxes are colliding. But you can put the rail slide down with the replayer, and when the blades are out of the way, it will put the rail slide through there. So it's kind of hacky, but that's what you got to do. And now that that's down, we're done with this replayer. And so I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way, put it down below the terrain, and we'll just leave it. And it will load up the toy box correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this over half a block, and this one half a block. That covers up that seam behind there with the blocks and puts the bottom corner flush with this triangular piece. So that looks good. Alright, so now we need to create the little tunnel that's going to go in here. And let's see. We'll use this block. And I want to leave enough room here. We're going to end up eventually putting this row of blocks across here like this. But I'm going to leave that off for now because it's going to be in the way. But we can put down a couple of these just to kind of frame it in a little bit so we know where that's going to go. And then when we put the roof on, we'll put a row of blocks in here oriented this way, and that'll be the opening they come up through. All right, last thing we need to do is the ledge hang, which will get us up there. So come back down here and come over to the right. And let me pull up my screenshot from my ledge hang maze. If my tablet will cooperate. There we go. Okay, and this ledge hang maze is going to sit right over in here and gets the player up here, which mimics what we saw in the footage, the alpha footage. So we'll start. I'm going to put down a couple of these here, and let me go ahead and style these again. We'll use the castle ledge hang with the wooden ropes. And this is going to be the one that the player jumps onto. And so we'll put that one in there like that. And actually this one up here, that top one doesn't really make sense because they'll never be able to grab that. So we'll put a ledge hang and a spacer up there, like that. And then we're going to add 3 spacers along here, and a spacer here, and one there. And come up and add 2 spacers like that. And then I'm going to grab this diagonal ledge hang. And, or actually, oops, that goes up here. I think, yeah. Right in there like that. We'll come back over here and pick up the double ledge hang and put it in there. So the player is going to have to jump from this platform over to those ledge hangs and grab hold, climb up, leap across the gap, hop up, and then start going diagonally up the wall so they can get over to this side. So we're going to put this ledge hang here like this, and another one up above it like that. And then we'll slide over. We're going to put one up here and one down there. And then at the top of this one, we'll have them hop back across and put the double up there. And then we'll fill in the rest of this with spacers. And of course you don't have to build your maze exactly the way I built mine, but there's all kinds of different ways you can do this, but this is how I built mine. So there we go. And I'll pause here for a second. You can pause the video and build that on your own if you need to, if you're so inclined. So that's the maze that I've built, which will get them up here to this room. And then they'll ride the rail slide over and pick up the key on the other end, which we'll put in at a later date. So that's it for the lava pit room. I have one more build video to go, and that's for Jafar's tower, so that's what I'll do next time. Then we can finally move on to the logic for all the traps. Until then, I want to thank you for watching, and I want to remind you that you can find floor plans for this toy box on my blog, which will help you build it on your own console or PC if you want to do that. And if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to click my photo in the lower right corner of this video or the follow button on my blog so you don't miss the next episode. That's all for me today. I'll see you next time.